Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Bo-chan.
I'm Nimacum.
I'm Van-chan.
In this class, I'll read all of you a part of Ulysses,
Bess,
L.
Ulysses, James Joyce. Chap 13, Sec 5. Her words rang out crystal clear, more musical than the cooing of the ring dove, but they cut the silence icily. There was that in her young voice that told that she was not a one to be lightly trifled with. As for Mr. Ridgey, with his swank and his bit of money, she could just chuck him aside as if he was so watchful that never again would she cast as much as a second thought on him until his sleep was scored into a dozen pieces. And if ever after he dared to presume she could give him one look of measured scorn, that would make him shrivel up on the spot. Miss puny little lady's countenance fell to no slight extent, and Gertie could see by her looking as black as thunder that she was simply in a towering rage, though she hid it, the little kinnet, because that shaft had struck home for her petty jealousy, and they both knew that she was something aloof. Or what? In another sphere. That she was not of them and never would be, and there was somebody else. To that knew it, and so they could put that in their pipe and smoke it. It just straightened up baby Boardman to get ready to go, and Sissy tucked in that wall and the spades and buckets, and it was high time too, because the Sandman was on his way for Master Boardman Jr. And Sissy told him too that Billy Winks was coming, and that baby was to go dee-daw, and baby looked just too ducky, laughing up out of his gleeful eyes. And Sissy poked him like that out of front in his wee fat tummy, and baby, without as much as by your leave, sent up his compliments to all and sundry onto his brand new dribbling bib. Oh my, pardon by, protested Sis. He has his bib destroyed. The sight contretemps claimed her attention, but in tutu she set that little matter to rights. Gertie stifled a smothered exclamation and gave a nervous cough, and he asked what, and she was just going to tell her to catch it while it was flying, but she was ever ladylike in her deportment, so she simply passed it off with consummate tact by saying that that was the benediction, because just then the bow ran out from the steeple over the quiet seashore, because cunning O'Hanlon was up on the altar with the veil that Father Conroy put round his shoulders, giving the benediction with the blessed sacrament in his hands. How moving the scene there in the gathering twilight, the last glimpse of Erin, the touching chime of those evening bells, and at the same time a bat flew forth from the Avid belfry through the dusk. Hello, hello, with a tiny lost cry, and she could see far away the lights of the lighthouses, so picturesque she would have loved to do with a box of paints, because it was easier than to make a man, and soon the lamplighter would be going his rounds past the Presbyterian church grounds and along by shady Tritonville Avenue, where the couples walked, and lighting the lamp near her window where Reggie, while he used to turn his free heel leg, she read in that book, The Lamplighter by Miss Cummins, author of Mabel Vaughan and Other Tales. For Gertie had her dreams that no one knew of. She loved to read poetry, and when she got a keepsake from Bertha Supple of that lovely confession album with the coral pink cover to write her thoughts in, she laid it in the drawer of her three little bulbage, though it did not err on the side of luxury, was scrupulously neat and clean. It was there she kept her girlish treasure trove, the tortoise-shell combs, her child of Mary badge, the white rose scent, the abraline, her alabaster pouncet box and the ribbons to change when her things came home from that. Wash and there were some beautiful thoughts written in it in violet ink that she bought in Hellies of Dame Street, for she felt that she too could write poetry. If she could only express herself like that poem that appealed to her so deeply, that she had copied out of the newspapers she found one evening round the Pothups. Art thou real? My ideal? It was called by Louis J. Walsh, Margaret felt. And after there was something about twilight. What though over? And of Jim's the beauty of poetry, so sad in its transient loveliness, had misted her eyes with silent tears, for she felt that the years were slipping by for her, one by one. And but for that one shortcoming, she knew she need fear no competition, and that was an accident coming down Ducky Hill, and she always tried to conceal it. But it mustn't, she felt. If she saw that magic lure in his eyes, there would be no holding back for her. Love laughs at locksmiths. She would make the great sacrifice. Her every effort would be to share his thoughts. Dearer than the whole world would she be to him and gild his days with happiness. There was that important question, and she was dying to know, is he a married man or a widower who had lost his wife or some tragedy like the nobleman with the foreign name from the land of sun had to have her put into a madhouse, cruel only to be kind. But even if, what then? Would it make a very great difference? From everything in the least indelicate her fine but nature instinctively recoils. She loathed that sort of person. The felon women of the accommodation walked beside the daughter that went with the soldiers, and coachman with no respect for goals on her, degrading the sex and being taken up to the police station. No, not that. They would be just good friends, like a big brother and sister, without all that other, in spite of the conventions of society with a big S. Perhaps it was an old flame he was in mourning for from the days beyond. Recall. She thought she understood. She would try to understand him because men were so different. The old love was waiting with little white hands stretched up, with blue appealing eyes. Heart of mine. She would follow her dream of love, the dictates of her heart that told her he was her all in all. The only man in all the world for her, for love was the master guide. Nothing else mattered. Come what might, she would be wild, untrammeled. Faye. Well, Lord. Tessie. And they all looked was a sheet lightning, but Tommy saw it too over there. Trees beside the church, blue and then green and purple. It's fireworks, Sissy Caffrey said. And they all ran down the strand to see over the houses and the church. Helter skelter. The D with the Pishgar with baby Boardman in it and Sissy holding Tommy and Jackie by the hand so they wouldn't fall running. Come on, Bertie, Sissy called. It's the bazaar fireworks. But Gertie was adamant. She had no intention of being at their beck and call. If they could run like Rassies, she could sit, so she said she could see from where she was. The eyes that were fastened upon her set her pulses tingling. She looked at him a moment, meeting his glance, and a light broken upon her. What hot passion was in that face, passion silent as the grave, and it had made her his. At last they were left alone without the others to pry and pass remarks, and she knew he could be trusted to the death. Steadfast, a sterling man, a man of inflexible honour to his fingertips. His hands and face were working and a tremor went over her. She leaned back for to look up where the fireworks were and she caught her knee in her hand so as not to fall back looking up, and there was no one to see, only him and her when she revealed all her graceful, beautifully shaped legs like that, supplies soft and delicately rounded, and she seemed to hear the panting of his heart, his hoarse breathing, because she knew too about the passion of men like that, hot-blooded, because Bertha Supple told her once in dead secret and made her swear she'd never, about the gentleman lodger that was staying with them out of the congested districts board, that had pictures cut out of papers of those skirtonsers and high kickers, and she said he used to do something not very nice that you could imagine sometimes in the bed. But this was altogether different from a thing like that, because there was all the difference, because she could almost feel him draw her face to his in the first quick hot touch of his handsome lips. Besides, there was absolution so long as you didn't do the other thing before being married, and there ought to be women priests that would understand without your telling out. And Sissy Caffrey sometimes had that dreamy kind of dreamy look in her eyes. So that she too, my dear. And when you're ripping on some mad about actors' photographs, and besides it was on account of that other thing coming on the way did. And Jackie Caffrey shouted to look. There was another, and she leaned back, and the garters were both to match on account of the transparent, and they all saw it, and they all shouted to look. Lord, there it was, and she leaned back over so far to see the fireworks, and something queer was flying through the air. A soft thing, to and fro, back. And she saw a long Roman candle going up over the trees. On. And in the tent sash. They were all breathless with excitement as it went higher and higher, and she had to lean back more and more to look up after it. Aye. Almost out of sight. And her face was suffused with a divine, an entrancing blush from straining back, and he could see her other things too. Nainsic knickers, the fabric that caresses the skin, better than those of their pettywit. The green, 4 in 11, on account of being white, and she let him, and she saw that he saw. And then it went so high it went out of sight a moment, and she was trembling in every limb from being bent so far back that he had a full view high up above her, anywhere no one of her, not even on the swing. All waiting, and she wasn't ashamed, and he wasn't either to look in that modest way like that, because he couldn't resist the sight of the wondrous brave woman half offered. Like those skirting sirs behaving so immodest before gentlemen looking, and he kept on looking. She would fain have cried to him chokingly, held out her snowy slender arms to him to come, to feel his lips laid on her white brow. The cry of a young girl's love, a little strangled cry, on from her, that cry that has rung through the ages. And then a rocket sprang and bent up blind blank and no. Then the Roman candle burst, and it was like a sigh of oh. And everyone cried oh. What? In raptures, and it gushed out of it a stream of rain gold her threads. And they shed an awe. They were all greeny G-straws filling with golden. Oh, so lovely. But sweet thought. Then all melted away dully in the grey air. All was silent. Ah. She glanced at him as she bent forward quickly. A pathetic little glance of piteous protest. Or shy reproach under which he coloured like a gull. To be continued.